テレ東BIZ。
先日もお伝えしましたアフガニスタン情勢についてのニュース、またちょっとロンドンからお伝えしていこうと思います。日々ですね、刻々と動く中でいろいろなニュースが出ています。タリバンが今まで女性の権利だったり、いろいろな権利を認めてこなかったというのもあって、今回は変わったぞというメッセージを出し続けているんですけども、その象徴というのがちょっとありましてですね、これトロテレビという、トロニュースという現地のテレビ局なんですけれども、政権に批判的だったりタリバンに批判的なものも伝えて、このニュースなんですけども、8月の17日ですかねにこれが流れたんですけども、タリバンがカブール掌握した後に、まず最初女性のキャスターが画面上に出てこなくなりました。その後にこれタリバンの報道官、タリバン側の人ですねがスタジオに出ています。この女性のキャスターがですね、このインタビュアーなんですね。女性が取材することを認めるというのは、過去のタリバンだったらありえなかった話なので、かなりこれは世界中を驚かせました。タリバン側としてはこれから政権を握って、自分たちが政府だと認めてもらいたいということもあり、変わったんだというのを示すと。一方で本当に女性のことを認めるのかというので、メディア側も厳しい姿勢で臨んでいまして、この後どうなっていくのかを常にウォッチしているという。このトロテレビの創設者、トロテレビグループの創設者の方にお話を聞きましたので、ご覧ください。
元気ですか？忘れちゃったんだけど今。I grew up in Japan from 11 till I was 16.
Oh, wow.
I went to St. Mary's International School in Santa Gayaku.
Oh.
You are now in Dubai, right?
Yes.
Do you have a plan to go back to Afghanistan?
I will go back probably in the next month or two, but I think we probably wiser to wait to see what this new government's like, what their policies are like, and vis-a-vis the media. The problem right now is that there are no flights to Afghanistan. There are no commercial flights. The airport is completely shut down to commercial activity.
So it was a surprising scene. So when the female reporter was interviewing the Taliban spokesperson, what kind of exchange and communication behind the scene?
Well, you have to remember that the Taliban have only been in power for 12 days. At the moment, they have other priorities. Their priorities include winning over the political and military opposition around the country. It's to convince the international community that they're legitimate, that they're more modern than in the past, that they would respect certain values like freedom of expression and women's rights. And they also have to, they would like to win the hearts and minds of the Afghan public. So I think these are the reasons as to why they're leaving the media alone. But also there's another reason. They're too busy. They're too busy trying to run this very complicated country of 36, 37 million people. Some people say 38 million, which is very different to the country that they last ruled over in 2001. So to a large extent, they're relying on the media to get their messages out. They're using their relationship with the media to show that they're more tolerant. And so we have a relationship with them. We speak to them every day. We cover their activities and their press conferences. They have to date have left us alone, although we've had some issues. Two of our journalists were beaten up 2 days ago in the morning by Taliban militias on the streets of Kabul. We've complained, and they've promised to look into it for us officially. They've launched an investigation. It's early days because you have to remember that Taliban still do not have a government. Right now, we don't have a government. So they have to introduce a government, and then they will have directives in terms of the media and social activity and women at work and all those sorts of things that we're so curious to find out more about.
So are there any pressure on you and Troll TV?
There's no pressure at this second, although things can change by this afternoon, simply because I think they want to give this good impression. They want to indicate to the world and to the Afghan population that they're more tolerant. It also could be because they're too busy. They're too busy dealing with everyday issues of governance and running this country. So the only thing we've done, the only change we've made to our programming has been we've dropped some of our music shows and some of our very controversial drama series. Other than that, we've tried to keep as much as the original programming or the programming we had before the Taliban's ascendancy on air. But for us, every day is a new day, and we have to navigate this new environment. It's challenging, it's difficult, but we have to play it by ear.
In the future, so will you be able to continue reporting the discrimination against Taliban at that point for Taliban?
We would like to. I mean, we are an important institution in the country. In Afghanistan, the media is one of its few success stories. Afghanistan's media is freer than India's, it's freer than media outlets in the Middle East, Central Asia, North Africa, even parts of Eastern Europe. Afghanistan has a freer media market, media sector. It's dangerous. Yes, people get killed, people get intimidated, but we have been able to report on issues freely. And that's an important thing for Afghanistan, for Afghans. So the Afghan population expects that to continue, and we would like to continue. And the Taliban have promised to continue, but it's too early to tell because we have to see a Taliban government emerge.
How do you deal with the safety of your staff in Afghanistan?
It's difficult. It's very difficult. In a lot of ways, you can argue that there's no rule of law, that you have different Taliban militias in different parts of the city. For example, in the area where our station is, we have the Taliban from Badakhshan. And then the area next to us, you have the militias from Logar. They dress differently, they act differently, they speak differently. There's no standardized, you don't have a conventional police force. So it's a very difficult thing to navigate. You may be allowed to move freely in one area, and the next area, the Taliban may not let you in.
This is just confirmation that TodoTV has been targeted by terrorists in the past. Recently, do you know their situation like that? No.
Well, they specifically targeted one of our buses and killed 7 of our employees on January 20th, 2016. And they injured, some very badly, 15 other individuals. And since then, we've lost another 6 journalists in various attacks, suicide bombings, and targeted killings. So we have lost 13 individuals to date and have had many injured. As I said, some with loss of, eyesight, some with, losing their arms or their other parts of their limbs. It's been a very difficult environment for media outlets, including us, in particular us. But for us also, it's important to work with whoever's in charge. I mean, our obligation is to provide our viewers with unvarnished, uncensored news, to give them what they want, and speak truth to power, to challenge the government, to challenge the institutions, to challenge individuals on issues relating to governance, to security, to corruption, and we will continue that for as long as we can. Well, we're sort of as the expression goes, we're the canary in the coal mine, right? When you don't hear from us and when we're silenced, you know what's going to happen to everyone else. And I think that we're going to be a barometer in terms of how they interact and deal with us, in terms of how they're going to approach issues like women's rights and freedom of expression and civil society and so forth. I think some members of the Taliban recognize that. The problem is that we don't know that ultimately which members of the Taliban will have the biggest voice or the bigger voice.
最後まで見ていただきましてありがとうございます。 テレビ東京の経済ニュース、経済番組をもっと見たいという方はこちらの画像をクリックしまして動画配信サービステレ東BIZにアクセスしてください。どうぞよろしくお願いいたします。